Hello and welcome back to Small Screen Stories. This is the daily show where I go over all the news in the world of entertainment and pop culture. My name is Edward Lauder, I'm the editor of Small Screen, and let's get right into the news. So the very first thing that happened today, not today, the very first thing I want to talk about today, is that it's to do with Cyborg, and in particular the fact that Ray Fisher did an interview with a YouTube site called, or a YouTube channel called Geek House Show, and during that interview he actually revealed probably a bit more than he would have wanted to. He was asked about how many scenes, or how much how to put this, how much of the stuff that he filmed with Zack Snyder ended up in the final cut of the movie, and he actually revealed that almost all of his scenes were reshot. And he also revealed that the only scene that he filmed with Zack Snyder that ended up in the final cut of the movie was that scene on the rooftop. So the rooftop scene with Commissioner Gordon, with Batman, with I believe Wonder Woman and the Flash. I think they're all in that scene, and that was one of the very first scenes that we kind of heard about, because that was the scene that a lot of the members of the press were invited to during I think it was a set visit. So lots of people saw them make that scene, shoot that scene, and a lot of people came out with really good, positive reviews about what's happening on set. So it sounded like Zack Snyder's set was a pretty good set to be on. If you listen to what Ray Fisher's had to say, he's had a lot to say about Joss Whedon, and in particular how he ran his set and how it wasn't a good experience for him. And he's also gone on to talk about racism within the higher ranks at Warner Brothers. This is, again, allegedly, he's alleging that this is happening. And then there was a Forbes article, and this Forbes article went viral, and people kind of, it went a bit weird, because people, the Forbes article, then they got rid of a quote, and then the writer that wrote the article is now classed as a former Forbes writer. So it's getting a bit not out of hand, but it's getting a bit tricky, I think, is probably the best way to put it. It's getting a bit difficult, I believe, for people. It's a difficult situation to be in. Let's just say that, and it's just one of those things that I think a lot of. Sorry, it seems as though my stream is again a bit. I think it's got a problem with my laptop. Let me just check what's happening. Why is this happening now? If I make this like that, hopefully this should sort it out. No. Interesting. Again, technical difficulties. Sorry about this. This does happen sometimes. It seems as though my computer is running at maximum power, which means that the stream is very, very laggy. This is why you need a production team behind you for this sort of stuff. It can happen on occasion, and it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't happen. But interesting. It's saying that my total. Okay, this is not fun to watch. But you know what? We're going to carry on regardless. So yes, it was to do with Cyborg getting back on track. So again, according to him, this is what he said during the interview. He said, "It's hard to tell with certain shoots of other people for scenes that I wasn't there for. But what I can tell you is that for my character, and from what you saw in the theatrical version, that every single scene, with exception of the Gotham City police rooftop scene with Commissioner Gordon and Batman and the Flash, every single scene that I was in was reshot. I reshot almost the entire film on my end." That's a big claim to make, because, well, not just a big claim to make, but it's showing that this film that we saw there's barely any of Snyder's what he shot in that movie. It's just one of those things. It's like that they started filming something, and then it ended up being something completely different. That's why we've got Zack Snyder's Justice League coming. That's why people are so excited, is because we've got this movie coming. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. And I'm going to move on now to an exclusive article we've got on the site right now, which is to do with Zack Snyder's Justice League. And in particular, it's to do with how much of Justice League. How much have we already seen? Let's say of this Justice League movie that's coming, and according to our sources, it's going to be mostly never before seen footage. So the article's up here now, and my source told me that Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be a very different beast to what we saw in cinemas. It's going to feature mostly never before seen footage. It's looking pretty amazing already. So this for me is like really exciting, because it basically means we're going to see 4 hours of something that we haven't really seen before. This is completely new. We've probably seen elements of it in the very first trailers that were released. We will see some of those scenes, of course, but I later kind of pressed the source about, well, how much of it is never before seen, and they said that it's probably estimated between 70 and 80%, which is it's a brand new thing. We knew that already, but not really, not to this extent. So we ran with it, and it was something that I was really, really looking forward to writing, because I'm incredibly excited to see this movie. This movie is something that I've been waiting for, dying for to see for years now, and it's one of those things that I think people have been waiting for it now for so long that it's just something that the fact that it's coming is incredible. This is, again, it's like fans coming together and really building something and making a lot of noise, which is probably not really what movie studios want to hear, and it's something they don't really want to happen. But it's happening. It's going to be a lot of it's going to be completely brand new stuff. We know that they're shooting additional photography right now. We know that the likes of Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, Jared Leto playing the Joker, we know that they're coming back as well. And this is something that I think a lot of people are very excited to see. I am one of them, and I cannot wait to see more of this. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving on to Mahershala Ali. He revealed that Marvel was actually developing a Blade series before he was cast. So Mahershala Ali was on a podcast episode recently. The podcast is called The Tightrope, and he was just talking about his career in general. But during that interview, they got onto the subject of him playing Blade, and let me just get the quote up here for you. So it's, again, he's the fact that he's playing Blade is just absolutely insane. It's so good. It's sensational casting. And of course, it was revealed that he actually went up to Kevin Feige and said, "I want to play this character," which, thinking about it now, just makes perfect sense. But anyway, here's what he said. So he said, "So in doing that show, Luke Cage, the day it premiered, I turned to my agent and said, 'What are they doing with Blade?' Because I kept hearing that they are trying to find a way to remake it and put it back together. And it was exciting for me to get back in that Marvel space in TV, but for me, my goal had always been film." That he went during the interview. He actually went on to specify that it was a TV show, but now he really wanted it to be a movie, and the fact, the idea of having a Blade TV show, to me, is actually quite interesting. It's something that I think I would really like to see, but then again, I'm just really dying to see this upcoming this upcoming Blade movie. But what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think of the casting of Mahershala Ali as Blade? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving on, and we're going to move on to John Boyega. John Boyega actually revealed that he had a meeting with Disney after he criticized the Star Wars sequel trilogy. So this is really big news. This was back in September, I believe, when it was published in GQ. That he had a lot to say about how actors and characters of color were treated in the Star Wars franchise, and he was not happy, and that's perfectly understandable. So the actual original quote was, then this was in GQ, he said, "You get yourself involved in projects and you're not necessarily going to like everything, but what I would say to Disney is do not bring out a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good, I'll say it straight up." So that was the quote that he said. He was upset. Of course he's upset. I mean, that's what they did. Finn, to begin with, was actually one of the main characters. He kind of was at the end as well, but there's a lot of reason for him to be annoyed, not just for his character, but also the way they treated the way they treated a lot of the other characters of color in like Asian or from Asian or black backgrounds in the Star Wars franchise it was not good. And then he did a recent interview with the Hollywood Reporter, and in that he said it was a very honest, a very transparent conversation. There was a lot of explaining on their end in terms of the way they saw things. They gave me a chance also to explain what my experience was like. I'd hoped that me being so open with my career at this stage would help the next man, the guy that wants to be the assistant DOP, the guy that wants to be a producer. I hope that the conversation is not such a taboo or elephant in the room now because someone just came and said it. So, yeah, it's interesting that Disney actually decided to sit down with him. I mean, they didn't really have another choice, to be honest, because it was pretty big news at the time. But yeah, they decided to kind of to tackle the situation head on. But it seems to me, like reading into his quote, it seems to me like they were doing a lot of the talking and kind of trying to explain things on their end, which, you know, again, it isn't the best look. But no, it's nice to see. Well, first off, it's good that he spoke out about this because it's important, and hopefully something will be done about this sort of thing in the future, because Finn's character was butchered. Really, towards the end, was kind of a side character that didn't really matter much as far as the plot's concerned, and that was a shame. But what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Right, yesterday I spoke at length about. Well, not really at length, but I spoke a bit about the Johnny Depp libel case that he actually lost in the end. And there's been a massive reaction online, and I just want to go over this very, very briefly. So people are demanding justice for Johnny Depp after his loss. And of course, he's got a lot of fans on Twitter. Again, this is a case that's really complicated to talk about. I have to admit I was quite shocked by the verdict personally, but that's a personal opinion. This is probably going to keep on rolling on and on and on, but justice for Johnny was all over Twitter today, and it just goes to show that people aren't going to be happy until things turn in his favor, no matter what the evidence really is. But then again, I mean, we're not privy to what's happening in court, really. Like we get snippets and stuff like that, but we don't hear everything. So we have to be very careful with this. I mean, hopefully justice will be served on the right side. Hopefully the truth will come out at some point. But no, I just wanted to talk about that. Let me know what you guys think about this whole case in the comments below. Right, so it's time to move on to the Green Lantern series. So this is coming to HBO Max, and it's been revealed that it might actually have a black female Lantern and as its lead character. So this story came from The Direct. It's their exclusive, and it's actually they've got a lot of stuff at the moment about this particular series. I'll go into some of the other things they were talking about in a bit. But no, one of the things they were talking about was that this new character, she's apparently a new character that's been created, and she's going to be one of the main characters along with Guy Gardner, Alan Scott, Jessica Cruz, and Simon Baz. So a lot of main characters in this show. According to them, she's going to be called Bree Jata. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but they're also not sure whether this is just a code name or the actual character's name. That's not clear to them. But according to their report, she'll be half human and half alien. She'll have a human father and an alien mother, and has grown up in an advanced alien society on another planet. She's been also described as extremely committed to the Green Lantern cause and very hardworking. So she's also going to be, according to the report, she's going to be kind of pitted next to Guy Gardner, who's a very different sort of character to her, and they will not get on. But this, they also went on to say that it won't be based on, again, I cannot pronounce this character's name, I'm really sorry about this, but Sojourner Mulane. Oh dear, I probably butchered that. I'm sorry about that. But it won't be that character from the Green Lantern comic books. Again, I'm not very familiar with the comic books. I'm going to be honest. Green Lantern's not one of the characters I know all that much about. But I am excited to see an HBO Max series. And moving on to the next story involving the Green Lantern is that from the same source, well, not same source, but from the same outlet, the Direct, they also reported that the series could be set in multiple time periods. They actually said it could be set between the 1940s and 1980s. And that to me sounds quite interesting, but it's always quite difficult. It is quite difficult to make a show that's kind of split between different timelines, and well, time periods in particular. Some shows have done it, not all successfully. It does require a lot of, well, very good writing. But it looks like that. I mean, HBO, this series has some incredible writers working on it, and it's got a. I mean, it's being produced by Mark Guggenheim, who's the he was very much involved in the Arrowverse, and so it's got some good people behind it. I'm just trying to see who the writers are for this show, but my computer again is not working that well. But between the 1940s and 1980s, and also a modern day setting. So it's 3 different time periods according to them, which, I mean, to me sounds pretty interesting. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving on to Gotham and Donald Logue from, well, not Gotham, sorry, Resident Evil. And there's a Resident Evil reboot coming. And according to, this was reported by Deadline, Gotham's Donald Logue is going to be playing Chief Irons, from the video games. So I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil video games. Not so much the movie. The movies, the Paul W.S. Anderson, Paul Wes Anderson, one of the Andersons. I get them mixed up all the time. But yeah, not the good one. Well, Event Horizon was a good movie, but it's something very different. It's apparently it's going to be much more faithful to the video games, which is good. I think that's a good thing. But he's been cast in it, and this series is looking very, very interesting. It's not series, this movie. It will be a reboot, a complete reboot. It will be set in Raccoon City. The characters are all from the video games. There's no Alice that's kind of invented for the for the movie franchise. But it's already got some interesting actors in it as well. Robbie Amell, Tom Hopper from the Umbrella Academy, Avon Georgia, Neil McDonough, who's a brilliant actor. So it's got some really good. I'm pretty excited about this. Hannah John Cameron from she's of course from Ant-Man and the Wasp. She was brilliant in that. She was in a series recently. I'm blanking on the name, but she's a phenomenal actor, and I'm really excited to see what they do with this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. In other kind of horror series news, let's say, Clive Barker has joined HBO's Hellraiser series as an executive producer. So Clive Barker is a bit of a hero of mine. He's a novelist and kind of he's a playwright as well. But he made quite a big bang with the Hellraiser movies, which is based on his novel. And he directed the first Hellraiser movie. I don't think he directed any of the others, but really the first Hellraiser movie is the only one you should watch. It's fantastic. But they're making HBO making a new series, and this comes from Deadline, and it came with a statement from Clive Barker himself, and he said, delighted the Hellraiser mythology is seeing a new life. It's time the stories went back to their roots. I'm eager to bring a new audience the most powerful and ancient element of horror, the darkest evil invading our human lives, and how we must find in ourselves the power to resist it. Sorry, I rather butchered that quote, but this is the one with some really great writers behind. I was mixing them up, but it's got Mark Doherty. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He wrote X-Men. Trick or Treat, Godzilla King of Monsters. I believe he might have directed that actually. The writer of Battlestar Galactica, Daredevil and Heroes is also in there, Mark Verheiden. So it's some pretty good writers there. It's David Gordon Green's going to be involved in it, who's a fantastic director. It's a show that I'm really looking forward to. I'm not sure I find Hellraiser very, very creepy. Very creepy indeed. I find it quite difficult to watch at times, but I'm very excited to see this. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And final bit of news today is that Isabella Fuhrman, who was in the original Orphan movie, which was directed by, I'm forgetting now, but it's a pretty scary movie. It stars Vera Farmiga as well. And they're making a prequel film called Orphan First Kill, and she's going to be playing Esther again. And this again comes from Deadline. And I am very excited for this. I think Orphan is one of the creepiest and most unnerving films I've seen in a long time. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how they explore. Well, first, it's a prequel, so we're going to know more about her backstory, which I think is quite cool. Isabella Fuhrman seems like she doesn't age, which again is kind of adds to the creepiness. And it's something that I am really, really looking forward to. And it looks like we've got a lot of good horror ahead of us, which is great news, because I do love horror. And with that, I will say goodbye. I am sorry if the stream was quite laggy today. I do believe it is my computer. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully I'll try and work that out and see and fix it all later on. But thank you so much for watching. You can follow us everywhere on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at SmallScreenGB. If you like this sort of stuff, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us at Small Screen somewhere. And you can also, if you don't like watching this laggy video, you can also listen to the podcast at Small Screen Stories, where it's smoother. I'll try and edit this a bit actually to not have all the bits where I was looking at the computer and trying to work out what was happening. But that's what happens when you try and do these sorts of things live. But thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good evening or day or whatever. Cheers. Goodbye.